In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful. Dear students, hope you are all fine. Today I am sharing another video lecture which is the extension of lecture 11, and in lecture number 12 I am going to talk about some more techniques and types of reading. The topics which we are going to cover in this lecture are scanning, intensive reading, extensive reading, and reading technique SQ3R method. The main objectives of this lecture are: at the end of this lecture, you will be able to know about different types of reading. You will also be able to know about how to improve reading comprehension. Now I'm going to discuss another important technique of reading, that is scanning. Scanning means looking for a specific piece of information in a text. The purpose of scanning is to locate specific or precise or exact details that a reader is looking for. These specific details can be key ideas, some important words, dates, names, or times. For example, in our daily life, the skill of scanning is frequently used. Suppose we want to know the meaning of a word in dictionary. If we read the whole dictionary, it will be very difficult to know the meaning of that word. We go to the relevant page and find out the relevant word. In the same manner, if we want to know the telephone number of someone in the phone directory, we do not read the whole directory. We open the relevant page and find out the specific number. So it means that scanning is done whenever you are intended to get particular information, any key information. There are many advantages of scanning. The first advantage of scanning is it saves time. The second advantage is we get relevant and necessary information about a specific thing without reading the whole literature. The third advantage is that we separate the relevant material from the irrelevant within no time. And the fourth advantage is we feel comfortable and relaxed while we are searching the relevant material. We are not sidetracked from the main point. So this was all about scanning, that whenever you read for key information, particular information, the technique which is used, that is called scanning. The third important technique is intensive reading. Intensive reading is done when you want to know something thoroughly. It involves two processes, skimming and scanning. With the help of skimming, we take stock of the text and come to know what type of information is given in the text. And by scanning, we arrive at the specific information. By the use of these two methods, we go to intensive reading. In intensive reading, we read a thing thoroughly and employ to it some specific purpose. We do intensive reading when we have our aims and goals before it. We must know why we are going to make an intensive reading. We should identify if we are going to write a research or research work, or are we going to a thesis for higher degree. This method of reading is often used by students who are fond of learning new words from the dictionary. They take backward, find its origin and its various grammatical uses. In this way, they enrich their language. There are also many advantages of intensive reading. The first advantage is intensive reading helps the scholars to study the text thoroughly and with concentration of mind. The second advantage is it is helpful to vocabulary seekers. It helps the student to study each word used in the text with concentration. The third advantage is it promotes the memory of a reader. The reader retains the material learned in his mind for a long time. The fourth advantage is it helps to remember the dates, facts, and figures for a long time. We can retain these things for a long time. The fifth advantage is it is an end in itself. It is not a means to an end. It neither affords us pleasure nor amusement. It is a painstaking activity. Last but not the least, another advantage is it is a friend of research scholars and hardworking students. Now I'm going to talk about the last kind of reading, that is extensive reading. Extensive reading is quite different from intensive reading. In intensive reading, we study for specific purpose. We probe into origin and uses of different ideas. The scholars and learners of knowledge adopt this method. Extensive reading means to study a thing from the point of view of pleasure seeking. The reader studies the text for enjoyment. He studies a large number of novels, fictions, and journals to add to his comfort and pleasure. He has no specific aim before him. So, what's the method of extensive reading? That how to do extensive reading? In order to read a passage or some article extensively, we must use the following method. Try to read books which are a little below our intellectual level. It will help us to study them without consulting a dictionary. We can read as many books as possible. Our main aim is to enjoy them. We can read without knowing the meaning of each and every word. We do not go deep into probing the origin and uses of words and phrases. Now, what are different advantages of extensive reading? Extensive reading provides us pleasure and amusement. It makes our reading capacity better. We begin to read fast. It helps us to enrich our vocabulary. We read a large number of books on one topic. In this way, we gain more than that of intensive reading. It helps increase oral fluency, listening and speaking abilities. The students who do extensive reading develop an attitude to read foreign languages. We begin to read a thing fast and understand it quickly. We can finish books in a reasonable amount of time. So this was all about different kinds and techniques of reading: skimming, scanning, intensive and extensive, and all these techniques are helpful to improve comprehension and reading skills. Now I will talk about SQ3SR method, or how to improve comprehension of the text. So this method is very important for better comprehension of the text. Some of us face great difficulty to understand the text of a book, article, or magazine. The scholars have derived a scheme for a reader to improve his comprehension. The technique is called SQ3R. It means survey, question, read, recite, and review. The main objective of this strategy is to make the students comprehend the written material easily. The strategy has the following advantages. The first advantage of SQ3R method is that it provides a systematic way of understanding novels, magazines, text, books, and other reading assignments. It encourages active reading. In active reading, the reader puts questions to himself to seek information. It connects the reader with the topics he has already read. It sharpens the memory. It helps retaining the material in the reader's brain. Now the question is this, that how to apply SQ3R technique, SQ3R method for better comprehension. SQ3R technique is systematic way of reading. It consists of 5 steps. The first is survey. The purpose of survey is to get a quick view of reading material. You should spend 1 to 2 minutes to have a survey of the material. You should do this in this manner. Read the title, contents, reading and subheadings of the material. Second, fix the name of the chapter in your mind. Third, read the introduction and objectives of a chapter of the book. Fourth, pay attention to the reading and subheadings. Fifth, try to identify the main idea of the reading material. Sixth, look at other clues which may identify the main idea. Seventh, read the summary to see which ideas the author restates for specific emphasis or what conclusions are drawn. 8. Look at the important terms given at the beginning or end of the chapter. So this is how you do first step, that is survey. So first thing which is important in SQ3R method, that first of all you need to survey, and you have to follow all these steps which I have already discussed. After survey, another important step is questions. After making a survey of the reading material, make questions out of the reading and subheadings. Suppose paragraph is about unemployment, so you should make questions and try to know what is unemployment. Why does it exist in Pakistan? Why are the educated people remain employed? Such questions and their answers will make the reading material easy to understand. The third step is read. Now you should read the material laying before you. It may be fast or slow. Make slow reading if the reading material is difficult or complex. You can also make notes of the important points. We should try to underline the important places, facts, and figures given in the text. Now we should try to recall the supporting material we had already read in the past. This new material will stick to your mind now. After reading, another important step is recite. Now you should recite the answer to the question that you made. Either recite the answer or writes it down on the paper. Another way to increase your comprehension is to recite the facts and figures given in the reading material. You can also draw a map, a diagram, a chart, etc. It will help you retaining the material in your mind. After recite, another important step is review. Review is the final step in retaining the material to your mind. Review means to recite the material regularly. The recitation of material frequently and regularly sharpens your mind. You can recite the material chapter wise. Regular review puts a chapter back together again. In review, you are trying to answer the questions you have already made. This is the excellent method of learning. It strengthens the retention and the student feels comfortable in the examination hall when he puts down the material on the paper. It is said that this process of SQ3R is slow. True, it is slower than simple reading, but it is a reliable process of comprehending and reading material. So this was all about SQ3R method. I hope you have got the concept. So dear students, now we are done with techniques of reading and a very important method SQ3R for reading comprehension. And if you have any question, you may ask. You can text me. Thank you.